Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. We're going to divide it into 5 sections, well really 4 sections because the intro and the verse are the same section, and then we've got a pre-chorus, a chorus, and an interlude. So let's get to a close-up and get started. Here are the 2 chords for the verse. The first finger goes on the first fret of the B string, or the second thinnest. The second finger goes on the second the second fret of the G string, or the third thinnest, and the ring finger goes on the D string, third fret, or the fourth thinnest string, and you're just strumming these 3. And that's an F chord. And then we're going to take that same, and you can actually strum 4 strings, and it'll sound just grand. So if you accidentally end up making that high string, this guy, ring out, then that's cool. And then you're going to take that shape and you're going to slide it up 2 frets. Boop! And there you are on G. You want first finger 3rd fret of the B string, second finger 4th fret of the G string, and third finger 5th fret of the D string, and then you're just strumming these 3 strings again. And if you accidentally strum that high string again, that's still going to sound pretty cool. The rhythm for the verse is also pretty easy. So you just have 2 strums per chord, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, F, 3, F, 1, G, G, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. At full speed, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The chords for the chorus are very similar to the chords for the verse. In fact, they're an F and a G. This whole song is F and G. But the first chord for the chorus is you are going to strum the open E string. So you have that first finger, 1st fret B string, second finger, 2nd fret of the G, third finger, 3rd fret of the D. The second chord is a G7, so we're going to play this differently than we played the other G. And your first finger is going to go on the 1st fret of the E string, your second finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the A string, or the second biggest, and your ring finger is going to stretch all the way to the 3rd fret of the big E string, and you're strumming all of them. Then you come back to F, but you have a different F. This is an F9. So you have that same 1, 2, 3 arrangement here with that diagonal line on the B, G, and D strings. But this time you're going to add your pinky finger to the 3rd fret of the little E string, and you're going to get this chord. And you're strumming just 4 strings. Now, if you want to, you can wrap your thumb around. I'm not a big wrap the thumb around kind of guy. And you can grab that extra bass note there, and you can do that with that chord and the F major 7 if you like, and that'll give you a fatter sound. But that's not necessary. Here's the strumming pattern for the chorus. Anytime you have an F chord, you have this strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Down, 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 up, down. And it just happens once. And then, so that's what happens. Then for the G chord, or your G7 chord, you're going to have this strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, 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 up, down, up. So if we put those together, we have this. So it goes F major 7, that's with the open E. And then it goes to a G7. And then to an F9. And back to G7. And then it starts over again. The rhythm for the pre-chorus is pretty easy. It's almost all quarter notes, meaning you're hitting a note every time there's a beat. Except for the first measure of the pre-chorus, you have a rest, and then there's a couple of eighth notes later on, and we'll worry about that when we get there. So the first measure, you have your second finger on the second fret of the G string, and you're hitting that, and then an open little E. That's the thinnest string, and then back to that G. The next chord is your first finger goes to the first fret of the little E string, and then you're hitting an open G, open B, and then that first fret on the little E, back to an open B. And then this is our first complicated chord. Your first finger goes on the first fret of the B string, your second finger goes on the second fret of the G string, and your ring finger goes on the third fret of the E string, and you're playing G, B, E, B. 3, 2, 1, 2. And then you're back to that second chord you played with the open G, B, first fret E, B. And then your next chord, we have the third finger going to the third fret of the D string, and the middle finger going to the second fret of the G string, and you're playing the D, the G, then you're playing the D, G, E, G. And you're back to that other chord again. That is actually a G7, and you got G, B, E, B. And then this chord again. And now this time when you go to play this chord, you're going to have to hit the open D string and then the G string, and those will be eighth notes, like. And then if you play that whole measure, it sounds like this. And then we're back over here to this guy. That's the next chord. And then you're back to this guy again. And then your last little chip is kind of like a riff, but it's not even that complicated. So you've got 1 on the E string, an open E string, and then third fret on the B, and then first fret on the B. That sounds like this. Here's a close-up of the chords playing through that pre-chorus part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here's a close-up of what the picking hand does for this part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's one more part, and that is the interlude, and we're using 2 of the same chords we've already played. That F chord with the 1 on the B string, the 2 on the 2nd fret of the G string, and the 3 on the 3rd fret of the D string. And you're strumming and holding this for 4 beats. And you don't want that high string to ring out. But if you do, that's totally cool. And then you're going to slide it up and play the same shape, where your first finger's on the 3rd fret of the B string, and your second finger's on the 4th fret of the G string, and your 3rd finger's on the 5th fret of the D string. And then you're going to play that for 4 beats, and then play it again and hold it for 4 beats, and then you're moving back to the F for 4 beats. And then you've got a new chord, and that is an A minor chord. Your first finger goes on the 1st fret of the B string, your second finger goes on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your 3rd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the G string, and you're playing 5 strings. If you play 6, nobody's gonna care. So that gets held for 4 beats. And then you're moving on to a G chord again, so you got to jump up here. So that's probably the most challenging part of this song, is going from this A minor up to this G up here. And then you have another G, and then you end on an F.